What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are doing the 78th installment of Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing my NG Models 1 to 400 scale Delta Airlines Lockheed L-1011 Tristar 1 in the Widget Bicentennial livery. Welcome to the grand finale of Delta Month, and welcome to Airliners International 2025 in Atlanta. What a perfect model to conclude Delta Month with, another TriStar like I did last year on the week of Airliners International in Kansas City, which was a TWA TriStar to fit their theme with how big that airline was in the area for a good long time. And in this case, we have the Delta L-1011, the most iconic Delta widget aircraft, which flew a lot out of Atlanta, Delta's flagship hub, and a model that I did acquire at last year's convention at the Squatchy's diecast hangar table. So here we are, opening day for Airliners International. I cannot believe that we made it. It feels like yesterday that we were all leaving Kansas City, concluding that year's show, and now here we are back at it again for another year. Super excited for the future of this convention. It has got a bright future ahead. I can't wait for what's next, and I'm super excited to be a part of this next generation of AV geeks that are coming out to the show, putting it all over the internet for people to enjoy, and thus bringing more people out to it. And that is what makes this show so enjoyable. The good mix of older people and younger people, and especially from the former category. They have a lot of awesome stories to tell us young folks, and it is awesome to learn all kinds of cool stuff from years past in an era that, you know, not a lot of young people will know about. And there's definitely a growing number that are learning more about aviation history, so that is great to see, especially, you know, with content like what I do. You know, that's just a small footnote in the massive realm of information that is out there on the internet. So it is awesome that we have all kinds of resources, databases, etc., that we can learn all kinds of awesome things about the history of aviation in all aspects, commercial, military, and so on. So as always with Retro Reviews, we'll go ahead and get started with the box, which is an awesome box art. This is released in 2022 in the month of July, so this is that second wave of TriStars that they released. I was hoping to get one from the original batch they did in, I think it was like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there, but those are really hard to find. But I'll take what I can get, and getting this one was certainly a great addition. So starting off, we have the Lockheed L-1011-1 logo up there. So this is a TriStar 1, which is the base variant of the L-1011. There is a logo right there, which is kind of hard to see with that navy blue background there. Image of the plane, and then we have the Bicentennial widget, which is what this aircraft is wearing. And there's that Bicentennial widget right there with We the People, 1776 to 1976. And next year is going to be America's 250th birthday, which, let me look up the quick terminology for that. It will be the semi-quincentennial, so that is what's coming up next year, and I know this country's got a lot of big stuff planned for 2026, especially in and around Independence Day, so we'll see what's coming up. And then we have the Delta logo, registration, there's the We the People slogan right there, NG logo, 1 to 400 scale, collectible models, die-cast metal. And there's the bottom of the box with the aircraft logo, NG logo, image of the plane, registration, and the barcode. Item number is 31026. Right side has the aircraft logo, NG logo, Delta logo, and the 1 to 400 scale thing. There's the top of the box, which has Squatchy's price tag, $65 for this, which is a really good deal. These Delta TriStars from NG, they appreciate in value so quickly. As a matter of fact, I should say all Delta TriStars, the OG Gemini ones, and even the Aero Classic / Loch Ness models ones, those carry a lot of value to them. But people will go for the NG more because that one's the best quality option out there. The Gemini ones are very old and primitive, and the Aero Classics Loch Ness one isn't exactly perfect either, and this NG one is exactly where collectors want it to be at for perfection. And then the back of the box, which is almost the same as the front, but with just a couple of differences. So yeah, Squatchy's diecast hangar, man, their table last year had a lot of good stuff. I bought the Western 737-200 with the Indian head livery. That was the first thing that I saw from them, and I freaked out at that. You can check out the reaction on my day one vlog. I wish I had the original clip, but I lost it when my hard drive got messed up. So, you know, I've been looking through just old video files that I had on my computer, and I've noticed there are a couple like older videos that I can't link the original media to because it's not there anymore. So I guess I did lose more files than I thought, but thankfully it's not significant enough to really hinder any future video uploads, and I've since moved on to a newer, larger hard drive, so I've got more storage for these videos. But yeah, with Squatchy's table, they had, you know, that Western 737, they had the Silver ATR, those were 50 each, and then this Delta Tristar was 65 each. So Squatchy's going to be there, I'm sure, at Atlanta this year, so please go check out their table. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of great stuff again this year, so be sure to swing by their table for a few minutes, check out their inventory, and maybe buy something if there's something of your interest, because I know I will be. I'm excited to check out their table. But enough rambling about all that. I'll do more rambling after this video, so if you notice that this video is longer, kind of like what last week's was, that is why, because that is kind of what I do best. I like to ramble, I like to tell stories. So starting off at the front, we have the nose cone. There is the cockpit windows, which look really good. And you'll note here that this black paint on the nose, it's actually a matte finish, which is how it is in real life, and then it transitions to the more glossy navy blue paint, which NG getting that detail, that's something that none of the other manufacturers have gotten on the TriStar. So that is an excellent catch by NG, and that's what makes this model stand out amongst the rest. And get you zoomed in a little more to get you into the finer details, which, you know, I don't really care about, but because I've got this camera, I might as well use it to its maximum abilities. There's the L1 door along with the Bicentennial widget on there, and then the nose gear door has the fleet code printed on there with the nose gear itself. One antenna applied up on the top, and then there's the Delta billboard titles above there. Have your first class, premium, economy, whatever it would be called during that time, and then moving into like the coach section, which is what economy used to be called back in the day. There is the Delta logos there on those engines. They are of an RB211 variant. I'll just quickly look up their aircraft registration so I can make sure that I get this right, because there are several variants of the RB211 on the L-1011. And this one specifically has the -22Bs, and I think the TriStar Experience one, November 9010 Tango Echo, I think it has the same, it has the same engine types, and that's the only one that's flying that has those engine types. So if you want to hear what it sounds like, there's a couple of really good videos out there of the TriStar Experience, but there's a really good takeoff video of that one. So if you want to hear what an L-1011 for Delta would have sounded like, it would have been like that. So I'll put that video in the description if you want to go check that out. So there's the Delta widget there on the RB11-22Bs, and then the main gear down there. There's the rear doors, November 707 Delta Alpha and the American flag. There's also another little antenna underneath there. NG does get all the antennas, whereas Gemini and JC, they just only do the top ones to save cost. So, you know, that is debatable on whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's the TriStar logo there on the tail engine, and then this does have like the S duct, so it would curve down like that to the APU exhaust area down there. Delta widget on the tail, and then the 707 fleet code on there. Delta never had the Boeing 707, they had just the DC-8s. Those are only, the DC-8s, or no, they had the Convair 880s and 990s as well, so those are the only quad jet single level airliners that they operated, because they didn't have the 707 or the A340 or any of that. Northwest did have the A340s on order, so it'd been interesting if they had those, and then Delta, when they merged, if they would have kept those for very long after the merger. But there's the right side of the aircraft, luggage door on that side, and then all the same details there. There's the Delta widget, all that fun stuff there, and looking perfect. Bottom of the aircraft has the polish, and then there's the gray paint for the wing joint, stand hole, and all the other applicable details, no branding. And look how shiny those flaps are. That is immaculate. I don't think I ever noted that when I did my initial review on this in the hotel room. Good lord, yeah, that is incredibly shiny. That's what it would look like when it came straight out of the factory, but as it aged and flew over time, that would have worn out quite a bit. So NG is more or less trying to represent how it would have looked like straight out of the factory, as opposed to it having flown around for 5-10 years or even longer. So that is what NG aims to go for, and I know Aero Classics, they go for a more natural look, just with the polish being a little more worn out, whereas here they really make it shine and stand out, just like how it would have straight out of the factory. And look at the paint too, just see how the glare shines off on that. It definitely looks like it had just got a fresh coat of paint right out of the factory. So now we'll take a look at the real-life aircraft's history, and this is the only Delta aircraft for Delta month that will have not operated with Delta for her entire career. She first flew on May 5th of 1974, and she was delivered to Delta that same month. And of course, as depicted on the model, she had the Bicentennial livery. There were several other aircraft, including that 727 that I have, which I also did do a retro review on last year, so go check that out. And then she went to ATA in January of 1985, or American Trans Air, re-registered to November 187 Alpha Tango for her time there. She did wear the full title American Trans Air livery with the yellow gold sheet line, and then she would move to the ATA branding with the tropical tail, which I have on my L-1011-500 from NG. She would wear that livery and also the Pleasant Hawaiian Holidays livery for some time as well. And that's how she would round out her career. She was retired, and then the aircraft got scrapped in 2002. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is the finale for Delta Month, which, as you've seen all throughout June, we've taken a look at a bunch of awesome old-school retro Delta models that are in my collection. And this is a great grand finale to have, as last year we had another TriStar for TWA, and this year we have the Delta L-1011 from NG. So as I mentioned, Airliners International opens today, Wednesday, June 25th of 2025. The convention will be held at the Delta Flight Museum, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Renaissance. They'll be running shuttles between the hotel and the museum every few minutes. And then for that second hotel, they might have shuttles, they might not have any, but I'm sure you'll be able to find a way to get there. There'll be plenty of options to do so. If you get a rental car, use a rideshare service, or have a friend give you a lift over there, there's plenty of options to get there, but it's certainly not a walkable distance. Just based on what I've looked at. So just something to keep in mind if you're staying at that hotel instead of the Renaissance, because I know that hotel went quickly. The rooms that they had blocked for the convention, those are gone, and we'll see where the Kimpton Overland Hotel is by the time that this video comes out. But I'm guessing they're going to be gone as well, because that one's only $149 a night, and the view there for the runway is just immaculate. Made me consider, should I stay there instead of elsewhere, But I'm happy with what I've got, so I'm not going to switch a hotel just to get that better spotting view, because I'm sure we'll get an opportunity to spot at the convention or during the convention, however this may be organized. I'm sure we'll have details on that spotting meetup. It'll be in CM Aviation's Airliners 2025 preparation video if you want to go check that out, and I'm sure he'll have promoted that if there is a spotting meetup to be had during the convention. So be on the lookout for those details. You can go check out his profile, because I know he has expressed a lot of interest in getting a spotting meetup put together since he did the one in Dallas, and then we almost had one in Kansas City last year, and then this year, since we're at a much larger airport, we've got a lot more opportunities to catch a lot of cool planes, and hopefully we'll be able to spot those Delta 100-year Centennial aircraft, the A350, the 321neo. That'll be super fun to catch if those fly in at any point in time during the show, which I'm sure the odds are very much in our favor. And then as for the convention itself, it is going to be a blast inside the Delta Flight Museum. I'm super excited to go there for the first time. The photos I've seen of the renovations look incredible, and this convention is going to pop off with it being inside the newly renovated museum. It looks phenomenal. I can't wait to check it out, and I'm super excited to just have a lot of fun along the way. I've already had plenty of fun, so I'll be releasing more details on what I've been doing as of late, because there's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming to the channel, not just Airliners International stuff. So be on the lookout on my profiles for Instagram, and then also here on YouTube, because I'll be releasing more details in the coming days and weeks as to what I've been up to. But I can assure you, it's going to be fun, and I'm super excited to share it with you all. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoy Airliners International 2025 this year if you are going. If not, come on out to the 2026 show, wherever we might be. And I will catch you in the next video.